Hi everybody, and welcome to the Stamperia Blue Dream mini album tutorial series designed for Scrap and Create. In this video, we're going to begin building page 4 of the mini album, starting with the front and then moving on to the back. We're going to start with page 4 front, having the opening on the right hand side. This is the image that I am going to use for inspiration for this page. And I'm going to split this page into a couple of different features. So I'm going to split this here so that the door is a separate flap than this piece here with the table and chairs. But I'm also going to cut this piece out and make it a place that slides so that a photo can rest underneath of it. First, we'll need to cut a piece of cardstock 6 inches by 8 1/4 inches. We're going to score this on the left hand side. So putting the 6-inch side, the top of the scoreboard, and then scoring at 1/2 inch. Then on the second piece, 3 1/2 inches by 8 1/4 inches, we're going to score this on the right-hand side at 1/2 inch. Then we're going to cut one piece that measures 5 inches by 5 inches, but we don't need to score this piece. Next, I'm going to take my 2 pieces with my score lines, fold on both score lines, and burnish to create my tab so I can attach these to my page. First, I'm going to attach my 3 1/2 inch flap. So I'm going to add my adhesive to the back of my tab. And this piece is going to go on the right-hand side of the page, even with that edge. Top and bottom should also be lined up. Burnish this down. So this is the flap that's going to have the door on this piece. Going to open this up, and then for this I'm actually going to be placing my 5-inch piece on top of my piece, lining up the left hand and top corner of those pages. Now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, I'm sorry, I'm going to mark 1/4 inch from the top and bottom of my page. And then I'm going to take my piercing tool. Now with these both lined up, I'm going to remove this so it's not in the way. I'm going to pierce a hole down through both of those sheets. I've got my brad here. I'm going to take a brad and just place my brad right down through both of those, securing the prongs on the back side. And now I have this piece attached, so it will swivel. That'll be the part that'll have that window. And then this will be adhered here on the side of the page. So I'm going to take my adhesive and apply it on the back of my 1/2 inch tab. And then I'm going to line up this scored edge with the edge of the paper and making sure that the top and bottom edges are also straight with the page. Now make sure that you do burnish around where that brad is, because that flap needs to be on there securely. So once you have it on, you can go ahead and open it up. It'll be a little bit easier to do. So now we have, this is where our table and chairs is going to be. This is where the window is going to be. This slightly goes over that piece, this is where the door is going to be, and then we're going to make a closure mechanism down here later. So this is it for the front of page 4. Let's move on now to the back side of page 4. Now for the back of page 4, I'm going to be using this paper as my inspiration for this layout. And I'm also going to be using one of my graphic 45 tags. This is going to be my closure, and I'm going to be placing it in a pocket to hold my flaps closed. So I'm going to take this paper and be cutting this here right across this banner or this banister so that this is going to be a pocket. And then here, I'm going to be cutting this actually down the center, and there will be 2 flaps that'll open to the side. For my bottom pocket, I need a piece of cardstock 8 1/4 by 3 3/4. On the 3 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score at the bottom at 1/2 inch. Then I need 2 pieces of cardstock cut to 4 5/8 by 5 inches. On the first piece, we're going to score on the 4 5/8 inch side on the left hand side at 1/2 inch. So we have our 1/2 inch tab on the left. On the second tab, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the right hand side. So these will be our flaps that fold open. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish on all of these score lines so that these pieces are nice and flat, and then we will begin adding them to the base of our page. I'm going to be starting with my bottom pocket, so taking my adhesive, placing it on my 1/2 inch tab section, and then I'll be lining this edge up with the bottom of my page. Making sure that the sides are also lined up straight, and then burnish this down. And then I'm going to write my note to make this a pocket. And now I'm going to take my flaps. Before I adhere them down, I need to make sure that they are the correct size. So I'm going to place this at the top edge of my paper and the left side. On this one, the top edge and the right side. So this piece looks good. I don't need to do anything with it, but this one on the right, I'm going to need to trim it just slightly so that it will fit in here and not catch on anything. So it looks like I need to trim just a little tiny bit off of the edge between these 2 side flaps, and just a little tiny bit off of my top. So again, I need to make sure everything is lined up with this one. Then I'm going to use this flap, holding it all down, making sure everything lines up, it looks good. This pocket here will open and close without getting caught on anything. That's important because then this mat will be able to slide down in there. If these are too far down, it won't slide as easily because it'll actually be over that edge. So now that I have my pieces cut to the right side, I'm going to adhere them down one at a time, being very careful as I do this to make sure that they're in the correct location. So I'm going to place this right at the edge of my pocket and on the edge of my page, and everything should line up. Once I have that all lined up, I'm going to go ahead and burnish this down. And then adding my adhesive to my second flap, making sure all these are closed, then lining this up. Once it's in place, I'm gonna double check this one. Yep, it is right. Everything's in place now. I'm going to go ahead and burnish this side down. Now this is a side that has that brad on the opposite side of the page, so I just have to be really careful as I'm burnishing this one. So now I have my two flaps, and then this will be my pocket eventually, and my tag will go in my pocket and hold those flaps closed. So again, another pretty simple page, but the back of page 4 is finished, as is the front of page 4. If you are new to join the tutorial series, all of the Stamperia Blue Dream papers that I'm using today are linked in the description box below on the Scrap and Create website. So head over there and check those out, pick up your papers, and join us for the tutorial.